This is a great pleasure to have this roundtable around art and peace building. For this, I have the chance to have four wonderful women working on art and peace education. I have Gina Longton, who is the CEO and founder of 80,000 Voices. Gina, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm having Aixia Portero, who is a visual artist in contemporary art for culture of peace. She will tell all about how this center is helping with art and peace education. Thank you for being here.
Hello, everybody.
I have Dr. Marty Kazay, CEO of Ungun Institute, who is doing a real fight on the ground, who will explain how art could be used to help with peace education. Thank you so much, Dr. Marty Kazay, for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And last but not least, we have Sophie Rosenzweig here working with this beautiful association that she founded that is called Voices Without Border, and also a journalist of Arte Channel. Thank you so much for being with us, Sophie.
Hello.
So my first question will be, could you introduce yourself and explain how your work is combining art and peace education? And my first question will be asked to Gina first, please.
Okay, thank you very much. How can I explain myself? Well, I am linking art with peace building. Essentially, I am a peace builder. That's what I do. And I use my skill sets in being creative, basically. And because I think that art can go straight to the heart. We can cut out and transcend the kind of the language that quite often these days is kind of difficult to reach truth. So this is for me very, 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 very important to use art in this way. Yes, I think that's probably all I need to say at this point.
Beautifully said. Yeah. Could you tell us a little more about 80,000 Voices and what is it?
Yes. Well, yeah, 80,000 Voices is basically we advocate for peace through the arts. So we use art as a vehicle or a channel to express peace, really. What does peace mean to all of us? I mean, peace for me means my own personal development and also bringing awareness to others about things that perhaps they don't know about, perhaps that this world is at a real sort of nexus, it's at a real difficult point. And so I think this is, for all of us, it's an opportunity. Art for me really helps me to find ways of expressing things, concerns, but also hope and inspiration through the channel that really gets closest to the heart. So that's what 80,000 Voices does. I mean, we immerse ourselves in the problems and the critical issues of the day, but try and express them with hope. And my commitment is to do my own personal development in that process, as well as help others to understand things or get moved emotionally by processes that we can show them. And this is very much evidenced in my latest project, which I don't need to talk about now, but maybe talk about next time or in the next question.
Exactly. We're going to try to show some of the work you're doing and show some of the work that you're supporting also for us to better understand this process of 80,000 Voices. Maybe Dr. Marty Kazay, you could go ahead and tell us a little bit more about how Ungun Institute is linked with art.
Well, I first would like to say that to your question earlier, like who we are, I do believe that we find purpose in our name. And by my name being Marty, there's even the word art inside of my name. So I feel like I was born into purpose and I became a performance artist. And I found that it was one of the most healing attributes that I could tap into, of being able to do theater and sing and dance and anything that's art related. It was a healing component for me. And it became one of those things where, well, wow, if I could bottle this up and offer it to others, then maybe I could offer some natural medicine that will help us be better so that we can do better and show up better. And that's how Ungun Institute was born. I believe that that what we're seeing today is a lot of individuals, what I would say is gunning up emotionally. And when they're gunning up emotionally, hurt people, healed people, heal people. So for me, it's about teaching us how to ungun emotionally. And when we ungun, we're better to ourselves. We start with self, and then we become the reflection of what we want to see and how we want to feel in others. And that is those are the tools and the techniques that Ungun has produced through a method that is going all around the world, helping many different people.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marty. Sophie Rosenzweig, could you tell us a little more about these beautiful Voices Without Borders that you created?
Yes, I must explain maybe. During one of my reports during the war in South Sudan, I witnessed the setting up of the refugee camp. More than 4,000 people were arriving every day in April 2017. Most of them were women and children. And the first impression I got was silence. Nobody speaks. They were dazed, stunned after the night of fear, in fear. And I decided to take a calabash and to start making sound and singing. And suddenly I see a very, very little boy, maybe 2 or 2.5, and began to sing very, very little, a little voice. Life began again. And I say, okay, I must do something here. And I create the first choir in the camp, Bidi Bidi camp. It's the second most important camp in the world. And we began there, a choir in the camp. And the first choir was 5,000 people, children.
Beautiful.
After we go to Lira, and because we can stay in the camp, and we go to Lira, where there were ex-child soldiers, and we began to work with them. And it was very emotional because they can't sing. They have no voice. The voice was blocked. Mm-hmm. And it was very interesting for us because we can say that singing is to heal. We know each other, know that. But when you see that with children and they can't sing, they can make a sound, a proper sound. It's very impressive.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Really, to prove in your work also how art could be a precious tool in peace building. Let's go to you, Aixia. Could you introduce yourself and tell us how your work is related to art and peace building, please?
Okay. Well, my name is Aixia, as you have said. I'm a visual artist, and I'm also a senior lecturer at the University of Granada. And I'm also a member of the UNESCO Civil Network because I collaborate with an association that is the UNESCO Malaga UNESCO Club. And also I am a collaborator with the Institute of Peace and Culture from the University of Granada. So the thing is that when I started to work with peace and to build peace through art, because in 2000 my father was murdered by a terrorist group, ETA, and then he was a chief prosecutor of the High Court of Justice in Andalusia, and this is the south of the region of Spain. And at that time, my family and we decided to donate his organs and to respond to such a terrible event with life. And in that moment, I thought that what I wanted to do is to build through art with peace, because I really needed that. So we established a foundation when my father died to promote the donation human rights. And then is when I was really researching about human rights and arts, and then I did my PhD in new media and human rights. And then is that when I decided that art saved my life. And it was the point when I really thought that I had to, if I found through art this inner peace, I had to transmit it. That's why that's the point, yeah.
And so thank you so very much for this, storytelling that is very moving. I would like to show our audience a little bit about your foundation in order for people to better understand, all your work. And I would love to hear about specific project that you're dealing with, such as specific art that you're working with. So here we can see exactly where it's situated in Malaga. And I let you talk maybe about how this foundation arrived and, how we can get there and being immersed to visual arts and better understand also contemporary arts through peace building. So do not hesitate, dear Exia, to speak over this little video for us to understand specific piece of arts.
Okay, the thing is, I was waiting for some images to talk about that. Pax Natura, it's because of this researching about peace, inner peace. So as you can see there, this is the route of the flight. It's an installation. This is like a set of black covered books suspended by a delicate thread. The letters fall into the ground, into soundless void. These are roofed books, inviting to the viewer to pass through them, lightly covering the body, but also the social fabric. The flight of a duality, where on one hand, they rid themselves of a burden, those heavy letters that open the door to serene peace, inviting rewriting, personal elevation. And on the other hand, they emanate a mournful silence. And in the absence of those letters were evidence of an unavoidable loss of values and of culture. So all of these works are related to peace, inner peace, looking for the roots of culture and how it's so necessary to go deeper to try to found our inner peace. We can find also in this video, there is a series that is Free Voice that represents the ancestral song of the freedom with which birds are born in a dialogue between different genders, fluttering about. The bird, as you see in many of these, there are many feathers, and the books, because the bird is it's free, it is cultured to culture. Living in peace consists of accepting differences and having the ability to listen and recognize, respect, and appreciate others, as well as living peaceful and united. Freedom is the key element in the culture of peace, and as it allows individuals to express themselves freely and make informed decisions. Freedom also entails respecting human rights and ensuring equal opportunities for all individuals. So in all these works, the pieces invite us to reflect on books that have arisen, some of them, finding the inner peace, to let go of the burden of the letters, because they want to rewrite themselves to start anew. They rise because they have done that inner work, or perhaps it can be understood as a society that has lost its references, its culture, its principles, and needs to rewrite itself.
Beautiful, thank you. Thank you so very much.
I was nervous,
beautiful,
sorry.
beautiful work that was beautiful, really, and very meaningful in terms of really engagement of this contemporary art. So thank you so very much to give us the chance to discover more of your work. I'm going to now have Sophie talk a little more concretely about your work, especially regarding what you were saying, this little boy coming at the very beginning of your experience in order to be intrigued and sing over this canvas that you were talking before. So I would like to also share a little bit of your work in order for you to comment it. This picture, I think, is pretty self-explanatory.
Yes, it's the first one, because it's not my hands, it's another hands. But it's beginning with the music, of course. Our project started with a tour, a music tour in France. And 12 of the children were in France to make a tour, a singing tour in opera. And it was very important for them because normally they live in Uganda, and they are stigmatized because they are ex-child soldiers. And it's very difficult for them to live in their community and in the village. So the tour, and they come to France, to Paris, to Rennes, to Brittany, and to Strasbourg, and they sing, and they make a show with dance, and it was very important for them. And they dance and they sing with Philharmonic Orchestra. It was very important for them to share music. They want to show what they do and they did in the country, and to share what they do here. And it was very amazing to see the heart, the children to grow up. It was amazing to see them to begin adults. There were no more children, and it was very important through arts, because they explain, they build themselves the instrument, the music instrument, and they explain to the people in France how they play with. And it was very interesting to discover that, of course, for the people. And they have a value, and they understand that they have a value. And in their countries, they have no value because they are child children, soldier children, and it's very difficult for them. And it was amazing to see how they react in France to explain the music. It was traditional music, and they write the songs, and they write the music too.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We can see how passionate you are when you're talking about them. And
yes, I love my children. I love my children.
Yes, excellent. Time for Gina to explain us a little bit more about 80,000 Voice, and I will share my screen in order for people to better understand how you express yourself, and of course, the artists that are working with you. Could you explain us that a little bit more concretely, please?
Okay, so last year, we managed to get the green light to go to Hiroshima to photograph the victims of the atomic bombing. So they're known as the Hibakusha, the bomb-affected people who we were interested in filming the survivors. Now, I've actually been going to Hiroshima for over 10 years, building relationships with the Hibakusha, getting to know them and getting to understand, really trying to get under the skin of what happened. I had my own personal loss of losing my daughter, which was just on some level, I mean, dreadful, but nothing compared with what the survivors of the atomic bombing had to go through. So this coming, next year is 2025. It's the 80th anniversary of the atomic bombing, and as you know, the world is in such a state that we just felt that this was the time for, the Hibakusha were very, very keen to give a message to the world, and they didn't quite know how to go about it. Anyway, after talking to quite a number of artists and friends, we really decided that the best thing was to try and create some very strong images of them that gave them dignity and could show their resilience and their strength. Because this is, I mean, this woman particularly is a woman called Fumi Takashita, who's actually from Nagasaki, because we went to both. We went to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And she is extraordinary, because actually ground zero in Nagasaki was grassed over after it happened. And she remembered houses being in that area, which was the epicenter of where the bomb went off. And she actually persuaded the authorities to be able to dig down and actually dig up a whole load of artifacts and extraordinary mementos of life that existed there before the terrible, the terrible explosion that vaporized and disappeared and crushed so many people and burnt so many people. And she actually gave the artifacts to the Nagasaki Museum. And this is a photograph of her. And her story is that her nose, you'll see, slightly damaged. And she was 3 when the bomb went off. Oh, now we've got to Setsuko Thurlow. Anyway, Setsuko Thurlow is quite an extraordinary character. She actually is a Nobel Peace Prize laureate. She worked along with ICANN, which 80,000 Voices is also a partner of ICANN. And she actually lives in Toronto. She speaks very, very good English and is very, very articulate and has really spoken up for the last 60 years for the Hibakusha. And she's a real icon actually in the world of survivors. And we were fortunate enough to go out to Toronto to film her. And at age 91, she was very, very hospitable, very kind to us. And this is she's called Nam Paku, who is a Korean. Now, not many people know that 20,000 Koreans were lost in Hiroshima. And they were very, very rarely ever spoken about because they were used as and very, very, well, I don't even know they were paid. I hate to use the word slavery, but I mean they were used in Hiroshima, and there's one person, particularly one man, who fought tirelessly to get them compensation and get them recognized and acknowledged as victims of the atomic bombing. And so this is Pak Namju, Pak Namju. And she was, when we went to photograph her, she was still in her pajamas. She couldn't remember that we were coming to photograph her because we actually took a mobile studio to their houses quite often because they were a little too frail to travel. Not all of them, but quite a few of them did. So for us to really connect with these people as human beings, and remarkable that they survived such a devastating bombing.
Thank you very much, Gina. We can see, how the art of photography is coming to really give this dignity, this reflect. We can see also all the art of the black and white shadows in order to give them this nobility, this impression of nobility that they have. So thank you and congratulations for the work of the photographer.
I just wanted to say very quickly that they're actually 3D. When you see them in reality, the artist photographer called Patrick Boyd, who I should have mentioned before, took up with a camera that ran along a track. He's taken images of them. So when you see them, they're being exhibited in Tokyo at the moment, all 52. When you see them, you can actually see around them and see that there's the impact of seeing them in 3D is extraordinary. And we're having a lot of people visiting the exhibition at the moment.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Gina. Marty, maybe you can go ahead and tell us a little bit more about this Ungun project, this Ungun Foundation that you have created. And I would like to also share, of course, some of the work you're doing in order to present this. So we are listening in order for you to give us more concrete project you're doing.
Sure. Again, this is Ungun Institute, and this is a trauma-informed company that I created. I live in St. Louis, Missouri, which is like 10 minutes from where Ferguson happened, and it'll be 10 years post-Ferguson in August. So if you think about the trauma that we experience and the worldwide impact that it's had with community trauma, such as Ferguson, such as George Floyd, I felt that it was really it was due to me to get out here, as I created a word to best describe myself. I am an activist. I'm a professional actress and I'm an activist. I used my skill set as an actress to really deal with my own trauma, to go on stage and to sing and perform and to release. And as an activist, I feel like I was called to help others. And so I'm always starting with self-reflection. This particular card that I'm holding is the Ungun color wheel. And these are just simple hearts, colored hearts. And I just want someone to, when I show it to them, just tell me what color heart you are in that moment. I don't need them to explain what it says. They can read for themselves what it's saying, but it's really that self-reflection for them to be able to identify with others in the room who share that same colored heart, who might be sharing that same level of pain. And when you're coming into a room to teach and they're not familiar with you and you're not familiar with them, I think it's important for us to stop and personally ask, how do you feel? We see people and we assume a lot of things, but we cannot go by assumption alone. We have to stop and ask and connect with individuals as much as we can to find out how someone feels. We have someone sitting in a training that they are they're in pain. You never know that they may have just lost a loved one. We need to know that, and how can we help? So again, these are many different trainings that I do across the nation, nationally, globally, as well as community. Here, I'm talking to a group of individuals about sex trafficking. Again, I use the art with everything that I do. So either I'm singing, or I'm doing a piece of poetry, or I am maybe even some type of art, visual art activity. I'm always using the arts as some form of showing up to do what we do with Ungun Institute. This here, Stop, Breathe, Think, this is a peace education, a peace response that I created. It started in the schools with the curriculum. If you remember, and I know we're all from different parts of the world, but I'll just say this, when I grew up in the United States, they said if ever our bodies was to catch on fire, we were supposed to stop, drop, and roll. Those were the 3 words that they told us to do if ever our bodies caught on fire. But no one told us what to do if our brains feel like it's on fire in that moment where you feel like you're about to explode because of what the trauma that just hit. No one told you what to do to put that fire out in your mind. And this is what that is. It's to stop, take a breath, and think, so that you can emotionally reset and show up to keep yourself safe and those around you safer. We have 24 billboards up and around the city, and we are now placing billboards in other cities, and we're looking to put them everywhere, wherever there are people that can read and love a piece of art. This is what we would like to spread that word as peace education. So Stop, Breathe, Think is a phenomenon that we would like to see spread all around the world. I think we need it right now with so many things happening.
Amazing.
Would it be your message for World Art Day, my dear Marty? Would it be something that you want people to remember? What would it be in terms of message to the future generation? Is stop, breath is something that you want people to remember?
I definitely would love for them to remember to stop, breathe, and think, but I also want them to remember, in the moment that something happens to you, the simple thing you need to ask is who you are, whose you are, and why you are. If you can keep those 3 things in your heart at all times, and you can stop and ask yourself that, who you are, whose you are, and why you are, I think you will maintain your value, and that will really help you to decide how to show up. And last but not least, like I started with, art is in my name, M-A-R-T-Y. What's in your name? Because whatever your name means and whatever is in your name is also connected to your purpose. Be creative on this day, and go back and research your name and find out what is in that, so you can find your purpose and walk in it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marty. Aixia, what would be your message for World Art Day, dear?
So I was saying that let's remember the transformative power of arts to unite people beyond borders and cultures. And for me this day, it's a remember of how art nourishes our humanity by expressing the beauty, emotion, and diversity of the world we inhabit. We celebrate art as the universal language that transcends words, uniting hearts and minds of a shared journey towards understanding and peace. That's my message, and I read it because for me it's easier to express it.
Thank you so much. Very deep for this very deep message. Gina, what would be your message for this World Art Day?
Well, my message is that I think it's important for us as activists to reach out to other channels, and that's been my sort of really my aim for a long time. But you know, the channels that we need to get out to, the mainstream channels where we really need to touch people, are kind of quite inaccessible, because so many of us who work tirelessly don't have any money. So I say peace needs money. War has had too much money. Peace needs money, and peace needs art. And so, you know, these things, to be able to get out there and to really not be tokenistic, to be part of who we are, because I think that all of us here certainly I'm just so touched to connect with you all. You all seem to be very, very committed, which is just marvelous. And I think we just got to avoid being tokenistic and really, really, attract some people who really want to get involved, truthfully and honestly. So that's my message to world art. I think it's fantastic, but let's make it work and make it and become a funnel and become a channel for it to raise awareness and to support others, really.
Thank you so much. Yes, Gina. The goal is really to connect all the artists and also the audience in order to see that art is not that difficult, that art has a place to play, in our society, in terms of prevention, in terms of peace education. And last but not least, you, Sophie, will have a final say. What's your message?
Thank you so much. As Marty said, our name has sense. So my name is Sophie, wisdom. I'm not sure that I am a wise lady, but for me, art allows people to stand tall. And as you say, art, peace need art. And it's more than urgent now, for the moment, it's very important to let room for artistic project, because the world is so ugly and we need art to breathe, only to breathe. Without art, we can't breathe anymore. So please make art.
Thank you very much to all of you. It was an honor for me to have you in this World Art Day, giving some hope, because you gave us a lot of hope that art is here to be activists. Thank you to all of you being artivists and so passionate and so efficient. I will be sure to see you soon working on different platforms. Social networks will follow you. Thank you so much, ladies, for your involvement and for being so engaged.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you to everybody.